In New Hampshire, President Bush slugs it out with his opponents, Republican and Democrats. In Milwaukee, the verdict is in on mass murderer Jeffrey Dahmer. He was sane. He faces life in prison.
This is NBC Nightly News, reported by Garrett Utley.
Good evening. This is not the way George Bush had planned it. On this weekend before the New Hampshire primary, the economic recovery was supposed to have been in full swing. His popularity high, the road to re-election wide open. But here we are today, and there was the president campaigning hard against Democrats and a fellow Republican. Let's go to Manchester, New Hampshire, and Andrea Mitchell and John Cochran. John, we'll start with you and the president.
Garrick, today the Republican campaign degenerated into accusations of lying.
Without mentioning Pat Buchanan by name, President Bush accused him of lying in his commercials.
Raise the personal exemption,
the State of the Union,
by $500 per child for every family.
Today, he's abandoned your tax cuts. Even his advisors admit it was just a speech for New Hampshire.
Yesterday, I'm told New Hampshire voters were subjected to flat, outright lies about this plan. This plan includes many things, and perhaps the most important, a tax relief provision for families with children.
But the truth is, Bush never put those tax cuts in the same high-priority economic package he wants Congress to pass by March 20th. But you have to listen carefully.
And I want the Congress to move on this just as soon as possible, and it must be done in this session of Congress.
But this session of Congress won't end until late this year, long after the March 20th deadline Bush has set for the other tax cuts he wants for capital gains and real estate. Taxes play a big part in this campaign, with Buchanan harping on Bush's failure to keep his no new taxes pledge. In an interview in today's Boston Globe, Bush claimed, "I never did take the pledge, the New Hampshire pledge, not to raise taxes." But 4 years ago, Bush won the New Hampshire primary by saying his rival, Bob Dole, would raise taxes.
I won't raise your taxes, period. And my friend Bob leaves the door open.
In 1988, Bush relied heavily on negative ads. But today, he said, he is the victim of negative ads.
You know, I get kicked around too much, but that's all right. They're coming at me from deep left field and deep right field, and I've been out there to Fenway Park. I know what it's like. Stay the course. Stand up and say what you are for.
Of course, is selling the line that after 3 years in office, the country still does not know what George Bush stands for. Garrick?
Thanks, John. And now to Andrea Mitchell, who is covering the Democrats in New Hampshire. Andrea? I'm sorry, we don't have Andrea Mitchell, so we'll stand by and try to get her report in just a moment as the campaign continues there in New Hampshire. One of the candidates or non-candidates in New Hampshire is really not on the ballot, Governor Mario Cuomo, but there is a write-in campaign for him. We hope now to get in touch with the chairman of the Cuomo campaign in New Hampshire, who is Philip Crone, the chairman of the Draft Cuomo Committee. Do we have him on the line? I'm sorry, we don't have him either. We'll get to that and more news of the day. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'd like to talk to you about an invisible problem. The invisible bacteria that cause denture odor. Fortunately, antibacterial Effident kills those odor-causing bacteria for clean, fresh dentures.
Antibacterial Effident. Take the 50 most popular cereals in America. What if you had to choose between them based solely on the side panels? No brand names,